Hey everybody, it is time for another episode. But before that episode, let's take a second to thank our sponsor, Haven Cottage Investments. Haven Cottage Investments. What do you do? What do you do? You call them up and then you talk about property. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Haven Cottage Investments is a great place for you to start anything you need in life revolving property. Buying, selling, renting, leasing, owning, doing, being, living, eating, sleeping, anything and everything that revolves around a house, you need to contact these people and they will get you situated, all right? I'm telling you, it's a great thing. It's an awesome thing. All you have to do is just contact them via phone, email. All that information is all in the description. Just give them a chance. Give them a call, see what's up. If it doesn't work out, that's totally okay. If it does, well, that's even better. Mention the podcast and you get half off the commission rate. All right, hope you enjoy the show. One more podcast.
No, did you delete it?
No, I deleted it all.
Let's see what this person has to say. It was perfect.
All right, okay. We're officially now going to talk about why I'm pissed off that Kevin Spacey is a pedophile. I'm like really freaking pissed off, honestly. Okay, here's my problem. All right, Kevin Spacey, we could all recognize him as a really great actor, correct?
Sure.
All right, you could separate the art from the artist, correct?
Sure.
All right, so you have this guy, and he's like, hey, you touched me when I was, or no, I'm sorry. Hey, you dry humped me when I was a 14-year-old. And Kevin Spacey's like, oh, it was 30 years ago and I was probably drunk and like, you know.
Oh, and I don't remember it.
And I'm gay.
Yeah, and then they're
it's
like,
okay,
I
because
like how that was the.
I like dudes now. I choose to like dudes now.
I get where he was coming from. In my deepest heart, I really hope it wasn't like a misdirection or he was trying to deflect the media coverage. I really hope. I get it why he would reveal that. He's just trying to blow fire with fire. But yeah, it pisses me off because now it's like I can't like Kevin Spacey anymore. And if I go up now, and especially with today's aggressive society, if I go up and say I really like Kevin Spacey,
Whoa.
Exactly. And it's like it frustrates me and it irritates me so much. I get it. Hollywood's messed up. You know, you spend all this time and money and effort and power and everything, and you become this like almost godlike person. And you say, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever I want. And you know what, I feel like Kevin Spacey's probably a little weird, anyways. I mean, everyone's a little quirky, but I feel
all great actors are weird.
Exactly.
That's a fact.
Exactly. And so, but now it's just it upsets me because he was. I can't say he's my favorite actor anymore, and and then especially this whole freaking Harvey Weinstein thing blows everything up, and then it's like, who's the next actor to freaking crumble to the people? And they suspended House of Cards season 6, which I'm irritated with because
That was season 7.
Season 6.
Oh,
yeah, they finished season 5, and so they suspended production of season 6 because Kevin Spacey touches kids. But it's like, God, just
don't touch kids.
well, no, just
Yes.
charge him with something. Charge him with something. Make him serve jail time. The acting's already done. They're doing probably post-production and editing.
Oh,
and
so
stuff like that.
you're just more upset that you don't get to see season 6 of House of Cards.
Wow,
it's that and Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
It's both. It's like we said before. Kevin Spacey is literally my icon for like 4 or 5 different things. So it's irritating and it's upsetting and I hate it. And I'm really afraid now that the next person is going to be another actor that I like.
Sure.
I'm so afraid that I don't know, man. It's gonna be like Ben Stiller or something like that.
Idols are for
Ben
suckers.
Stiller seems pretty straight-laced, though. I think you're okay with Ben.
I'm with Zach on that though. Like having too many idols or an idol in general is just
Well,
like,
it's not like
not
it's
idol,
not like
but
an
it's somebody
idol.
that
even somebody that you like look up to.
Like,
if you
it's not even that though. When I go into this problem a bunch of times with music and actors and whatnot, because that's one of my things that I love to watch and listen to.
Yeah,
is I'll get so sucked into somebody that it's a resonating feeling that you have whenever you watch a certain actor perform or you listen to your favorite singer or rock band jam out. It's something that resonates and makes you feel calm, secure, and you can relate to a lot of stuff of what they're saying. And so when you see someone like Kevin Spacey perform at this such high level and makes you forget about real life for a second, you attach yourself, and it's not a good or bad thing. It's just the way it is.
And now I can't forget about real life because there's gonna be a thing in the back of my head saying, "I wonder what kids he doodled today."
Doodled?
Whatever.
Today.
We'll always have the Beatles.
Well, 2 of them.
Breaking news.
No, I mean, just I feel honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, oh, big scandal with Paul McCartney / Ringo Starr, because Paul McCartney was kind of a slut back in the day.
Yeah,
so.
but nobody wanted to hang out with Ringo until like
That's
10
true.
years ago.
That's
so.
very true. That's very true. But
Poor
no,
Ringo.
it's like
Ringo's my favorite Beatles. So.
Alex. It's like the guy, the drummer of Tool, just is like, oh, he diddles kids. What are you gonna do about that? Are you gonna stop listening to Tool?
I don't know the name of the.
Okay.
Well,
aren't you
just-
obsessed with the bassist or whatever?
Yeah, the bassist. He diddles kids.
Well, see, that's different though.
How is that different?
Because I can separate myself from the one part of that. Like,
Okay, so you can separate yourself from the art from the artist.
yeah. So I
Okay.
don't have that connection. I don't have that deep connection that like you do with.
I
Kevin
I
Spacey.
wouldn't say it's a deep connection. It's just it's irritating. It's annoying. It's
Well,
like
I mean, like
it's like
so,
you got a
for
brand new
example-
car
For
and
example, the lead singer of Pantera is
Mhm.
a neo-Nazi.
what's Pantera?
It's a metal.
Oh my
band.
gosh, but really?
Really?
Jesus Christ!
Whoa,
heard the
sorry.
song?
I'm sorry,
You
I
ever
don't
heard the
listen to
song
metal.
Walk?
Is it Walk with me now?
No.
Walking
Walk
with
is
me
probably
now.
their biggest song.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Okay.
Who did that song though? The song that I sang.
I have no idea
Go
what.
with
That
me
just
now.
sounds like gibberish.
Go
know
with
Oh, that's
me
the
now.
Congos.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's "Come With Me Now" by the Congos.
Come walk
No.
with me now. Come walk with me
But, like,
now.
so the lead singer of Pantera.
And you listen to
is-
Pantera?
Yeah,
That's supporting
I like
a
their
neo-Nazi.
music.
Mm-mm.
But no. But that's different though. That's different because I think there's an extent of if you're a neo-Nazi, you because you giving him money allows him to do neo-Nazi things.
Well, that's the thing though. He doesn't do like anything neo-Nazi. He's just a neo-Nazi.
Well, how can you be just a
It's just
neo-Nazi?
the ideology for him. But
What, he hates Jews and he wants blacks to like go fuck themselves?
I don't know his specifics, but I know he's a white white nationalist.
Okay, I think there's a difference between a white nationalist and a neo-Nazi. I think neo-Nazis are a little more extreme. They do share similarities, but I think a white nationalist stems more from just white America, where you're not necessarily, or at least correct me if I'm wrong, you're not necessarily you hate people, but you're like America should be white people. I don't care if there's black people
yeah,
out
that's
in
true.
Europe or
'Cause
something.
It's
Yeah, I can see
populism.
Yeah,
Um,
you're right. Whereas neo-Nazi is just like, hey, Jews, you want to not be alive anymore?
Yeah.
So-
Elegantly put. By the
Thank
way.
you. But I don't know. And that's also a thing. Literally,
I don't like their lead singer, but
Sure.
I like their music. is the
Sure,
thing.
but I think it's a lot harder because with actors
You
go
see them.
yeah you see
Yeah.
them and you when you pay money to see a movie, then you're supporting the production that gave him money to do stuff. So
Yeah, that's true.
and I mean it works for all artists of any kind, but it's just irritating. It's upsetting. I'm not like gonna ban all Kevin Spacey movies, but it's just like and
No, I see what you mean, though.
yeah, and the thing
I think you can go back. I would say ban all Kevin Spacey movies after the
Moving forward?
incident. No, after the incident.
like the when
so
the incident
look at
came
his
up,
yeah.
or
No, right when it happened.
okay.
So
he was like 20 when
26.
like,
He was 26 and the
26,
kid
yeah.
was 14.
So any of his early work,
Which
So
be a
honestly,
hipster, be a
everything after
hipster with
that.
Kevin Spacey.
I don't know, because I feel like once you've done
well,
something
no,
like
because
that,
there's
it
another
kinda-
guy. There's another guy who came up and he said that he got diddled by Kevin Spacey in
Yeah, there's like-
2001
there's
or
like-
2003.
right.
I think there's.
So-
He
just
came up to him at a
recently
bar
two more
and grabbed him by the
accusers.
Johnson.
Yeah.
and the guy went to the bathroom and Kevin Spacey followed him. And
Oh, really? I didn't read any
Yeah,
further
he
than
pinned
grabbed
he
my
pinned
crotch.
Kevin Spacey up to the wall and said, "Leave me alone." Went to
Wow.
Kevin Spacey's posse and said, "It's time for him to get out of here." And
Wow.
they all left.
Wait, and he was just a Joe Schmo, or was
I don't know who
is
he
an
was,
actor or
but
something?
I don't know who he was.
Okay. It's upsetting. But anyways, I'm sad because, well, I'm not sad, but I'm whatever. He's never going to act again, I don't think. I think
No.
this is a big enough blow
No,
to him
that's it.
that his career's over.
I'm not really sad about that though, because if
I
you're a
agree,
bad
man.
person like that, you don't
It's
deserve
like-
anything.
It's like,
That's true.
I don't know.
and
man.
I do think it invalidates all their previous work too.
I don't know if it invalid, but it's
yeah.
like if Freddie Mercury was alive today, but you found out he finagles children. I mean, it's like You
Well-
can't enjoy their beautiful music.
Well,
They
look at
make
the
this
biggest-
orchestral
But there's
rock.
a difference because that's art, right?
And acting is a form of art.
Right. But in terms, so like I'm thinking it from this perspective. If Einstein turned out to be a pedo, and Einstein, you can't invalidate his work because his scientific work was literally something that we're founded
True.
on, and you need it.
True.
But when it's art, it's more just like a social thing. Like, well, how much are we really upset with you?
Well, no,
You know?
I mean, look, same thing with Einstein, where his work has been proven valid by the scientific community. I think Kevin Spacey's 2 Oscar wins is validation enough that he's an amazing actor. That as an actor, solely as an actor, should be looked on as how to be a good actor, not a good human being.
That's true.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to watch any Kevin Spacey stuff because I feel uncomfortable about it. I mean, Alex,
you're not gonna watch.
Alex and Yuval know that that's
Right. Yeah.
zero tolerance about any of that stuff, and so
That's true. We do know.
and so we went off on a little rant a few podcasts ago about it. But regardless, I don't think it invalidates him as much as it just puts a smear on the life and career of a guy that used to be at the top of Hollywood.
Yeah, that's a good point because because to them, I guess everything it could be referred to as work rather than even art.
Sure.
So you can still enjoy it, I guess. But
Wait, look at the most famous
like-
pedophile in human history, Michael Jackson.
I was gonna mention him.
That dude, people still weep over his music because he was the greatest pop star of all time, even though he was a sick bastard that liked to touch kids.
Well, okay. I think that's a little different. Sure, it's on the same playing field. I just think it's a little less severe because he had a fucked up childhood.
So did Kevin Spacey.
Did he really?
His dad was a Nazi and molested him. That's what his older brother said.
Wait, are you serious?
I don't think that justifies.
Wow.
It. Yeah, they have a hard child life. and
Well, but
that shit is gonna.
it's gonna stay with you.
It's gonna stay with them, and it's probably gonna lead them to be like that, which is unfortunate. But I still didn't justify it.
No, I'm not saying it. But it helps you understand, and so those who continue to watch Kevin Spacey movies, old or however unlikely new, you can still. It still allows you to say, okay, well, I understand because you understand the monster, right? I mean,
to be honest, when I first saw the opening to House of Cards, and then I only watched a few episodes because the show freaked me out. And I was just,
You ready for the quote from his brother?
All right, what's the quote?
According to Fowler, their father was a member of the American Nazi Party who was enamored with Adolf Hitler and made Kevin, Randy, and their sister's childhood a living hell. I grew up in a living hell. There was so much darkness in our home, it was beyond belief. It was absolutely miserable. Years later, our mother actually wrote a letter to all 3 of us trying to justify what had gone on by saying she was abused as a child. Kevin tried to avoid what was going on by wrapping himself in an emotional bubble. He became very sly and smart. He was so determined to try to avoid the whippings that he just minded his P's and Q's until there was nothing inside and he had no feelings.
yeah. So like even then, I had no idea. Like I thought he just had a regular run of the day mill life. But like hearing that, again, not justifying it, but I can understand that. I can understand you have a really fucked up life and you have to struggle and you're abused and you're hit. That shit will carry all the way, especially when it first happened, or theoretically, let's say this was the first incident when he was 26. The shit that happens to you, especially when you're a kid going up all through your teenage life, it's not just like, oh, for a couple years he was abused. If this is from his birth till he left home, he had to deal with this. That's definitely not gonna. That's for him to quote unquote get over that, or get some side of psychiatric help, or be put on medication to get past it. Definitely not, especially when you're 26. Sure. I think you'd carry that all the way into your mid 30s.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it from that viewpoint. It's like, wow, your life fucking sucked.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you still.
Oh sure, no,
still mess with the
you
kid.
are responsible with your own actions, especially with drunk mistakes.
My thing is just like, I can see it through that view all I want. You still mess with the kid, and that's
also
end of story.
Granted, I will play one little devil's advocate. There was no penetration or anything. He was just like rubbing up. I'm not saying it makes it any better. I'm not saying it makes it any worse.
Well, I mean, there's more accusers coming out now. And
sure, you're right. But
who knows, man?
You're right. He wasn't as bad as Roman Polanski. However, again, I'm not going to go off on another rant about this.
No, I
because
it's Right. You doodle a kid, it's diddly done.
Yeah, yep,
Diddly
perfect.
done.
But
Dilly.
all right. So then what about Bill Cosby? I mean, he didn't touch kids, but he definitely did really
right,
really bad
raped
stuff.
women.
Yeah, exactly.
What about him?
He drugged and raped.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm not trying to like justify anything like that. But like I've listened to his old comedy albums, especially when he was probably doing it the most.
No, he is one of the
He's
kings of
funny.
American comedy. Yeah, that
I mean,
have
dude,
fallen,
like,
huh?
You know, you can't really say anything other than he was funny. Like,
I mean, Kevin Spacey was a good actor, so I mean,
Yeah, like
yeah.
I said before,
like that.
you can acknowledge someone's greatness
right.
at their craft at
peak.
working. However, their career and their legacy is now smeared because of it, and I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see, for me, it's kind of like with Philip DeFranco. He
Yeah.
basically, if with the that kid story that he just covered,
Yeah.
like a day or two ago or today.
Oh, the two parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, he doesn't see them as like human beings anymore because
Sure.
they're terrible people.
Wait, what story?
So there was a mom and a dad, or no, I'm sorry, dad and a stepmom, and there were these kids, and I forget, there's podunk somewhere in the United States, and and so it came out that the parents were like super abusive, like really abusive, like, and even like torturous, like demented abusive. Like I think one example he said was there was like cat poop in the closet or something, and the kids didn't clean it up, and so the dad thought they were actively not cleaning it up. And so he like smeared it on their face and like made them brush teeth with it and stuff like that. And it was just really fucked up.
Yeah.
And like they were hit and their bodies thrown against the wall and all sorts of crazy shit.
Sure.
So, we were just saying that, because you could possess the ability to do this and be a quote unquote regular person of society, but still in the privacy of your own home, do this, you're not human. You're just this fucking horrible beast of like, yeah, fuck you. Like, what? You don't deserve any justice at all because you could do this. So, but are you saying that Kevin Spacey and Bill Cosby are on that same level?
Not like monstrous in that way, but
I think
like,
Bill Cosby
even
was.
Yeah, with Bill
Really?
Cosby, I think
Absolutely.
that's monstrous. But
I don't know, just because I don't know enough about it.
What, Bill Cosby?
Yeah.
I mean, you just hear someone who is super famous, had a lot of money, and just raped women, date raped, and
Yeah, but then there's the stuff of like, oh, but then there are allegations, and then it's like,
No,
Oh, I'm
it's like the OJ verdict.
right?
Like
Okay.
he basically,
Is it-
we
yeah,
all
I
know
don't
he
know.
did it, but legally, you're absolutely right. He is an innocent man.
I see
Yeah.
what you mean.
We all know he did it.
well, okay, real quick. I'm just curious what you guys think. I mean, his wife is still with him.
Yeah.
They stay they're still together, and
for some fucking reason.
but what is that reason? I don't know.
Probably
I mean,
because she doesn't want to leave the husband that she thinks is her husband.
Well, in a
Okay.
lot of cases, like we just read in Kevin Spacey's, and that's just picking out a specific one. This is a common thread when wives know that their husbands are doing this, they tend to be silent about it. That's a common thread in a lot of sexual assault on minor cases, where the wife will stay silent and still stay with the husband. That's just a common thread. I don't know why, but that's something that whenever I was in college, I read about all the time. Whenever we had to go through our little section of
right.
sexual assault cases.
The only thing that could logically make sense is you've been with this person for like 10 to 15 years. You've built a life around this person. You're invested together. You have all this. You own a house together, blah, blah, blah. And then you find out that there's such a horrible monster that just unrealistically a horrible monster. But you can't leave him because then what are you going to do with your life?
Sure.
If you,
Or she legitimately thinks he's innocent.
that is also true.
yeah, maybe
it could be
Confirmation
be
bias.
true. They could be.
Or maybe he really is innocent. You never know.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
When
You're
have,
right.
like,
You're right. Technically, we will never know.
I think when you have like 100 plus, I don't know. I'm saying 100, but I'm sure it's probably somewhere in the hundreds of women stepping up and
Yeah, that's pretty
admitting.
damning.
so. Well, it's really interesting. I don't know. I just thought of this. Bill Cosby targeted non-celebrity people, but Kevin Spacey targeted celebrity people.
Because, like I said before, actors are all weird and crazy. If you can make yourself cry on demand in front of a screen,
Right.
I think there's got to be a screw loose. You know?
Yeah, I'd have
True.
to agree.
And
I mean,
so,
what I was getting at earlier with the Kevin Spacey, when I saw the opening and he was doing his acting and he like snapped the dog's neck and stuff,
Yeah.
I was like, you are a person that is playing that part so well
It's
that
creepy.
I am convinced that you are actually there's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
method.
I think that's
scare the shit out of me.
I think
Some of them
that's a
do.
real thing. Honestly, I think
But-
it's a real thing. If you're able to do like when Heath Ledger did the Joker. I mean, obviously we don't know a lot about him because he's dead, but I cannot think but help to think that there's something wrong with you. Like you're like somewhere. There's something
he had
wrong
some
with
emotional issues. I watched the documentary, I Am Heath Ledger, where it goes through like his whole career, and there's like a 15-minute section all about his role for the Dark Knight. But he had problems with pills even before he was cast as the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the work and the amount of time and energy and mental strain that he had to go through to become the Joker didn't help. But the myth that the Joker, like, he went insane because he played the Joker, that is all it is. It's a myth. But like I said before, when you have 14-year-olds that are brought into this world of acting and theater amidst this huge bubble of grotesque behavior that is Hollywood, these don't surprise me, and I feel like they should, but they don't surprise me because these allegations have been around since Marilyn Monroe's days. There was even a movie, I forgot which movie it was, but there was a clip where a guy was telling these 3 women, one of them including Marilyn Monroe in this movie, like, hey, go sweet talk that producer or whatever, and they would make like wisecracks about it, like, oh, don't let him kiss you too much or whatever the hell.
Right.
Like, this has been around for years, and everyone's in Hollywood's known it.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me the most, is that it's so rampant, and people like Meryl Streep are feeling sorry for Roman Polanski going to jail or whatever, or feeling sorry for Woody Allen, doing this, and that. That is what terrifies me the most. That there's a system in Hollywood specifically, there is something systematic going on that people almost feel sympathy for these disgusting bastards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I have the biggest problem.
Well, I don't necessarily think, and I mean, your feelings are justified, and your thoughts and ideas of how it works is justified. But I think that's just human nature. When you put someone so high on a pedestal and you give them so much influence and money and everything like that, people are just going to naturally say, "Hey, he's doing something right. Let me see what I can do." Unfortunately, it always degrades down to sex because for whatever reason they're deprived.
Sure.
But I mean,
and that happens in sports too. Look at NFL athletes. Look at NBA athletes and MLB. In any sport, you have these guys that grow up from nothing. You always hear that cliche acting story where, oh, I grew up from nothing and I just kept working and I became this big, huge star. It's the same thing in the NFL where you have, like, look at Ezekiel Elliott, this cowboy that we're trying to feel sorry for right now because he got screwed by the NFL. It's the same thing when these.
Wait, how do you get screwed by the NFL?
Because he at Mardi Gras or something, he pulled up a girl's shirt and grabbed her tit. He beat this bouncer's ass at a club. There were rape allegations of him after he got drafted from Ohio State to the Cowboys. Those charges were dropped, but the NFL still has a zero tolerance, and they're trying to save face because of their whole Ray Rice thing that happened a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. But the NFL apparently didn't give him a fair shake in the investigating process or whatnot. But that's besides the point. You have NFL stars that are put on this pedestal as gods among men. And of course, when you give a 22 or 23-year-old all these millions of dollars, nothing is going. Why do you think something's going to go right for these kids that had no morals growing up and went from nothing to something? It's the same thing with these actors. And so I agree. When you're put on this pedestal and you have no morals growing up because daddy wasn't there or whatever the hell, you're sent in this environment where you're now top dog.
Well, actually, I think that's kind of interesting, and what happens in the next year and what allegations come up and who gets put on the hotspot next, I don't know. But currently, a lot of the people that are being hit and are all their crap is coming to light, they're in their like late 40s, 50s. These are like adult people who grew up in this industry. It's not like in the NFL where you have young players, mid-20s, whatever, where sure, that makes sense. You give a brat $1 million, what do you expect them to be, a mature person overnight? No, they're going to keep being a brat with money. But these people that, Kevin Spacey, and sure, I get it, if he was 26 and who knows even sooner, But a lot of these people, and well, even then, now I'm like thinking out loud, but now I'm derailing. This has probably been going on for years and years and years, and so it started when these guys are young. So what about the young people now? Are they doing that, or is this a different generation of?
I don't know. We have no evidence that suggests that this is getting better. Like, there is nothing that we can look on as evidence that suggests that people today aren't still doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like I said, it's systematic. And like I said, the silence bubble in Hollywood, at least in the NFL, you have the NFL to put out fines, to suspend you. In Hollywood, there's none of that.
There's no big
There's
bad guy.
none of that to stop you.
There's like an actors union, but they protect the people. They don't try to like
Exactly.
get the
And that's horse crap anyway.
Yeah.
The actors union is all BS anyway. And so
they have like guilds and stuff,
yeah,
but it's so
they have their
there's
own award show.
there's like 4 to 6.
Well,
They
but
have, like-
the thing is, it's all for the actors. It's all in defense of them.
Yeah,
Well,
because they need so
theoretically-
much more.
Well, the NFL, by that logic, is also for the players. I mean, they're going to protect
No, the
Right,
NFL
but the NFL union,
The
made
NFL isn't afraid to play daddy. It's
No.
not afraid to.
It used to be.
What do you mean used to
no,
be?
because
They
they
used to
they
not.
even made the players union signed a contract with the NFL back in, I don't remember when the last strike was, early 2000s, I guess. But they wrote inside the players agreement with the NFL that the commissioner has full power to fine, to suspend, to penalize, to do whatever he wants. And that's why people hate Roger Goodell. I really, he's not the greatest commissioner of all time, but he's still at least doing his job and making sure that these assholes that are doing horrible things to their wives or to random girls or to their kids are punished for it.
It wasn't
Whereas in
always
Hol-
that way, though. It used
Because
to be,
it didn't used to be.
because people didn't know. And then in the NFL, I mean, because I remember, I'm not so well versed in sports, but I know it's been the case in the past where there's players who, like, it turns out that the NFL knew about the allegations, but they just let him play because
Which ones? I
don't
because
know.
I haven't heard any of those, because this is a fairly recent phenomenon, or it's not recent, but people used to keep shit more private, I guess, actual players within their families, I guess.
No,
but
it's just
with
age of information and everything.
right,
People are
and
gonna
I was
find
about
out.
to say, with everything with social media, to finding everything you want to know about players and girlfriends coming out trying to get money from other players or whatnot, it's at least being, at least justice is somewhat being served to these superstar athletes, as opposed to, like I said, with these actors where there's nobody with a whip and a chain saying, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?"
Right. They're never going to act again, but what? They already have millions and millions of
Yeah,
dollars.
what are you gonna do to them?
Unfortunately,
You're gonna
yeah.
settle and you're gonna go, live your life back in Malibu.
True. Is Kevin Spacey married?
Well, I guess like there's one nice thing about it, and it's that they didn't get away with it. And now you're like you
so
said,
far-
they got away with it for
Well,
30 years.
Yeah.
No, but in terms of like your legacy,
Better late than never, sure. I guess.
like you were saying with the legacy, they got away with it, but they didn't get away with it in the end. And now
Sure, now in
their
2017,
person and their legacy is just
There are
nothing. They're
memes about Kevin Spacey, and there's so much backlash. And sure,
Right.
I'm sure he's
because
losing Twitter
that's the
followers.
worst fate
and,
that you could possibly have, right? As
Death
being
by
a person.
social.
Not even that, just dying and becoming a meaningless person or rather a person that cannot ever be looked at
Sure.
in a positive manner.
Well, but even then, I agree that your people are gonna associate Kevin Spacey with this horrible person. But even then, Kevin Spacey's walking down the street. He's still gonna have a huge amount of influence, though. I'm sure he can still get a free table somewhere at a restaurant. I'm sure he can still do whatever he wants.
I agree, but it's just, to me, for me personally, just knowing that his legacy and him after death is not going to be the same as Einstein. I'll just say Einstein.
Sure.
And
No,
someone
I
that
understand.
wasn't a
Someone that
pedophile.
because it's just that. It's as simple as that.
So what if Kevin Spacey wasn't a pedophile, but he still like touched people's ding dongs and stuff
Well, then
like
that's
that?
sexual
Well, then it's
molestation. That's
just-
sexual
it's just
assault.
molestation.
So
It's
okay.
not pedophilia. It's sexual assault.
All right. So is
It's the
it
same thing, but like just a lesser criminal
You think
offense.
he still could get work just under if he had sexual assault allegations?
Well, I mean, there
Yeah,
are
look at Casey
actors-
Affleck. He just won an Oscar, and that dude had sexual assault allegations.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Look
true.
at Ben Affleck. Same thing. Ben Affleck had sexual assault allegations. There are plenty of people that have had sexual
I
assault.
thought the thing with Ben Affleck got debunked.
Well, so there was a couple of ones. The one that
Dawson's
with
Creek or
the
whatever the
chick
hell.
Yeah.
were in the interview.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was debunked.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
There was like 2 or 3 other ones.
Sure. Well, but I think that's weird because, if it's like, and I don't know. Do you know if any of these women that were sexually assaulted, did they win anything? Did they settle?
They settled.
Okay, they settled.
They almost all settled.
Okay, so it never got to court, and there's never
No.
Okay.
And I think that's I don't want to blame these women for settling.
It's smart. It's the thing you should do.
I don't think you should settle. Take their ass to court and give them true justice. Like I
then just exposure. Like
sure, but to really set the record straight on why these guys get away and why that's kind of a big thing. They all have millions of dollars. They all can settle.
Yeah,
that's not hard.
But
Like,
they
I'm
do
gonna
it because
keep
they
you
know they
quiet by
can't win
throwing
the
money.
court.
Sure,
Well,
but that
it's
gets scooped under the rug because they settled. As
Yeah.
opposed to if you get taken
enough settlements against you, people start noticing. It's
okay, but what about the
Hollywood doesn't-
ones?
No, literally, there's I forget what the guy's name, but it was in the most recent Philip DeFranco just today. There's some huge Hollywood producer. I think it was like Rademacher or something like that. I forget.
No,
what
it was the director of Horrible Bosses.
But he was an executive producer on so many other
Sure.
movies, and he was like, he was a co-producer on the Revenant and everything like that. But what was it? He never had any court cases. He's never quote unquote settled with anything. But all these women are like coming up. So does it really get swept under the rug, or like
it has been? But now we have this big outcry from all these women that were abused, and now it's almost like a trend to come out and say that, oh, I got sexually. Yeah, everyone does. That's just part of it. As opposed to taking a stand as a sexual assault victim and taking their ass to court.
Well,
their lawyers are telling them straight up, this is a case. It doesn't matter what exposure that you get, because you're fighting. Like you're fighting against people with a lot of money, which means they have really good lawyers and they have a lot of influence. So yes, they can.
Yeah, and that's a product of that is a condemnation on our justice system that allows that, and also the Hollywood systematic, assault that's going on too. It's the double-edged sword.
Well, what I was going to say is, I think a lot of these women, I mean, could they even afford lawyers other than just a public defender?
No, and
Exactly.
that is a fault on our justice system. That's not okay. When you have somebody that sexually assaults or molests somebody, that obviously they should have their day in court. To
play devil's advocate, I mean, how can you prove that though? If it's something
very
that's
difficult.
happened,
That's why they settle.
years
difficult.
ago.
It's the easiest thing for a girl to do, especially in this
then
society
what
where
about-
college
what about-
kids are getting kicked out of school without even a court case when a girl says, "Oh, I was raped."
Well, that's
right,
different.
But those
though.
are
those are
those
college
are things
kids.
where the court case wasn't done. If you actually go to court for sexual allegations, how do you prove that? Nobody was filming this what's going on here.
Sure.
You typically don't have any witnesses.
Right.
You're right, and that's wrong.
So you can't
but
take it to court.
Yes, you
That's
can.
why they
Well,
settle.
no, yes, you can, but it's like, but then who's to say that I can't go to court and say, "Oh, Kevin Spacey touched me"?
Because there's it's been where that okay, we're getting into specifics in the court case.
I understand.
Where the lawyer could easily prove that you've all have had zero contact with Kevin Spacey because of where you've lived, where
True.
you've been, where Kevin Spacey's been, blah 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 blah. But because of, I think it's easier for a girl nowadays, especially with all this stuff that's going out now, to take a person to court with more recent stuff, with more recent, violations of sexual misconduct. I'm saying currently. I'm not
Define easier to take to court.
I'm
because-
saying currently. Like, if it happened to you like a couple of days ago, fucking take it to court. I'm not saying 13 years ago. I'm saying 13 years ago, you should have taken it to court. You should have run out of that dressing room or casting couch or whatever, going to the police immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
true.
what will
That's
solve the problem.
That's the issue that people are having, is that it was like the sexual allegations and all these things that are happening was known in Hollywood.
Right. That's exactly what I was saying.
About it.
Right, because that's just the way it is. That's how you get ahead in the business.
Right. So, but now now that everybody's knowing about it,
They're too
now it's
scared to come
actually
forward.
easier to, get these people into court. Now it's easier to do that, but the things with like Harvey Weinstein, it's like, yeah, he obviously he did this to some amount of people. We don't know how many exactly, because it was so long ago.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying right when that happened, they should have gone to police immediately.
But even if they did immediately, like, it doesn't matter whether it did it immediately 20 years ago or if it happened just now and immediately now. It's not easier to take that situation to court. You still have
Yes, it is.
You still have the same problem of this.
Well, no, because I think
can't
if you were
definitively prove
if you were raped or something like that, then
if you were raped.
Yeah, rape is where.
But we're talking about
thing.
we're talking
just
about
being
sexual
sexy
assault
sexy
is-
touches.
if it's molestation, you can't prove that.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able
That's
to.
he said, she
you
said
would
at
be
that point.
lucky if you got like
right.
a DNA.
And you're
thing,
telling me
maybe.
that currently in today's society that girls don't have the leg up on that in court? You'd
do you
be that
What do
to
you mean
say
the leg up?
a leg up in court saying that this guy touched me or this guy wanted or was talking to me this way. You really don't think girls have a better chance at proving a man's guilt nowadays?
Well,
Oh
now
my
they
gosh.
do.
Not in a
Exact-
real court.
Of course in a real court.
Well, because
Because
all
there's
you
still
have
no
to
evidence.
do, you have to win the jury. That's really it.
You have to win the jury. Well, but yes, and the jury a lot of times would be able, at least nowadays, they might be able to condemn the guy. But all he has to do is take appeal once. It goes up to the higher court where.
Well, that's okay, but that's where we have lie detector tests. That's where we have civil
lie
court.
detectors don't work.
What do you mean that?
They're
Then
not-
why are they used as evidence in
They shouldn't
90% of court cases?
They're
You
super
need to see it.
unreliable.
Adam ruins everything on lie detectors.
Okay.
There's
They
actually
don't work.
easier
You can
ways
skip
to
them.
with like sexual assault cases. Some of them, not all of them, can be solved with GPS
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
true.
because all phones have GPS. So if you can prove that, hey, I was at this person's house this day at this time, and they were also there, then you can then you could basically make a case. This is when it happened.
Sure.
That's true.
But it always comes down to
He said, she said. I'm sure.
reasonable doubt.
And what I'm saying is, especially with what's going on in today's cultural society of men are pigs and blah 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 blah, a woman has a much easier time proving a man's guilt than say in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s when it was just the way it is.
True.
When-
If you
I
saw
wouldn't
some-
say- I wouldn't say proving. I would say bringing it up, but
And
not proving.
and justice being served. You see, like, again, you see that all the time on, and this is despite, girls having the money to afford attorneys and college kids, blah, blah, blah. The 1 in 5 thing about girls going to college and getting raped or
To
whatever.
get more knowledge. Sorry.
Sure. Okay. Look at college campuses today where all a girl has to do is cry wolf that this guy, sexually assaulted me. That guy is immediately kicked out of college.
But those are unjust scenarios.
You're okay, but I'm saying
I'm talking about
it's
like
still
an actual court.
yeah, and
court
it's
case
yeah.
and stuff,
But my point is, it's not taken to court because society nowadays has kind of turned towards the side of the woman in any case, no matter what.
Well-
the guy is pretty much immediately guilty.
Well, we can even just turn it to just the victim. I think society
Sure.
very much prefers the victim, or not prefer, but
Sides with the victim immediately. Look at the Duke lacrosse case. That's a great case to look at. And it was a 30 for 30 on it. The Duke lacrosse players were accused by this hooker or by this stripper that they hired that 5 of the Duke lacrosse players had sexually assaulted them sexually assaulted her. It was taken to court. The whole country turned on this Duke lacrosse team because it's these rich white kids that apparently raped a black stripper. And the whole country was against this Duke lacrosse team until it got taken to court where they were found innocent of all charges. And so they were kicked out of school. Their lacrosse season was, completely suspended. All the players lost their scholarships.
but they weren't charged with anything, though, right?
Right, because they took it to court. And that's
Right.
what a girl should do in any case scenario where she is actually assaulted. Take it to court and let the justice system figure that out. If it doesn't, then that's wrong.
True.
But
no, you're right. I think
in order to make a stand on this Hollywood systematic BS, you need to take it to the next level as opposed to coming out 13 years later saying this happened to me.
right?
But I think
that's
there's-
very hard to do.
I understand.
There's a lot of push
I
to keep
understand.
it hush hush. Because
Right.
a lot of the justification was, I'm not going to spill the beans about Weinstein because then I'm never going to work again.
Right.
Because I'm going to be ostracized and, not allowed
Exactly.
in. So.
It's systematic. And that scares me the most, is that for years, and it just may still be going on. Like I said, we have zero evidence to say that it doesn't still go on. But for years, this has been happening, and everybody in Hollywood has known about it and kept their fucking mouths shut.
Yeah.
Because that's
They're just
disgusting.
scared of their job getting lost.
Sure.
That's all.
And that's why I say all actors right now need to just come out and just deal with it, because it's going to come out sooner or later. You've had your fun. Just, I need to know who to like, because going forward,
That's all that matters to you.
that's all that matters is going forward. Am I going to pay $11 to see a movie with a pedophile / sexual molester there? I don't know, but I need to know, because if I don't know, then I'm not going to see the movie.
You know how you can support that? By not watching
Dang it!
movies.
You know what? I just realized I wanted to see Baby Driver. That was like one of my movies that I wanted to see, and now I can't freaking see it.
Is Kevin Spacey in that
Kevin
movie?
Spacey is like I think at least he's like in the first half of the movie for sure.
He's
like,
the
guy that
coordinator,
recruits.
Yeah.
He's the guy that recruits the actual driver.
Oh, by the way, 5-0 Astros so far.
Oh, really?
So Astros are up 5-0.
How many games have they won out of the?
No, it's tied 3-3.
Oh, it
so
is.
best of seven.
So this is okay.
So
this is the final. Wow. And where are we at? What
Yeah,
inning
I don't know
is
what inning it is. My girlfriend didn't tell me.
it? Oh, well, that's kind of lame. It's the bottom of the first.
Well, if
That
you
would
want to
be
be
awesome.
a mindful consumer and you want Hollywood to get their shit together, just boycott movies. in
Well, that's
general.
what people are already doing. Movie
Yeah,
sales
it's
are
not
going.
gonna be.
Well, not
it's not
because of
gonna be
that, but I'm
serious.
just saying movie ticket sales, box office sales are going down. That's
Well, part-
that's been
part of that's just
right.
because
I'm
they
not
have shit
like
movies.
I said. I'm not saying it's because of people are boycotting movies because of the systematic.
Well, but I
you
mean,
know-
I feel like for the most part, 75% of movies that come out, they make their money back.
Sure.
They're
Oh, yeah.
making the investment, and then some for the producers to pocket. So I don't know. I just
Unless you're the Emoji Movie.
did. How was that? I never read the final opening box office. Blah blah blah.
I
Blake,
feel
can
like
you
they
get on
would have
that?
made their
Yes.
money back
I
from
think,
people just wanting to watch a trolley movie.
no, I think it was under by $2 billion or something like that.
$2 billion.
That's hurtful.
I'm probably talking out of my ass, but
Well, we're about to find out Blake's on the case. But I don't know. It's upsetting. I don't know, and I very much agree with Blake's point. I don't think there is any repercussion, any drastic repercussion for any of this. And all these people are just gonna go. They're gonna now, unless it's like, because I don't know what is the what is it, the term whenever you lose.
ready.
Oh, go
Budget
ahead.
$50 million estimated, complete gross, and it's already out of theaters.
Sure.
85,194,000.
So it did make its money back.
in the U.S. Yeah,
Um,
it's because kids
statute
don't.
of limitations. I think a lot of these, Kevin Spacey, obviously statute. Well, actually, I don't know.
I'm
Is
looking it
this sexual assault? What's the statute of limitations on that?
I don't know.
We're like,
I'm looking it up.
okay.
I think it depends on the state as well.
Considering that it seems like it's been happening a lot, I guess.
Well, because
it's
it could
pretty
happen
long.
if
Or
it
maybe
is-
it doesn't have a statute.
If it happened 30 years ago, you can just talk about it. But again, it's never going to get to court. He's never going to get charged or anything like that. So, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think hopefully now, when it happens in Hollywood now, like what Blake is saying, women need to immediately report it, especially because this whole Me Too
In Alabama, and this is let's go California because that's where
Hollywood is.
Connecticut, California. Let's see. A criminal complaint may be filed within 1 year of the date on which the identity of the suspect is conclusively established by DNA testing. If both of the following conditions are met, the crime is one of that is described in subdivision C of section 290. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Okay,
what
but it's a
California-
year.
Yeah, but that's
Much.
of DNA testing. That's conclusive. So the offense was committed prior to January. This is an old one.
Sure.
Prior to January 1st of 2001, and biological evidence collected in connection with the offense is analyzed for DNA type no later than January 1st of 2004, or the offense was committed on or after January 1st, 2001. And biological evidence collected in connection with the offense is analyzed for DNA type no later than 2 years from the date of the offense.
Okay, so collect the DNA evidence. You have 2 years, and then from there you have another year to actually file.
And then sexual offense against a minor is before the victim turns 28, and the statute of limitations for rape is 10 years.
Okay, well even then, that's still Harvey Weinstein won't get charged for a good chunk of
right, because he didn't do anything to a minor that we know of, and he didn't rape anybody.
Oh, he didn't rape anybody?
Not
He
that I
just
know of.
fiddled his own diddle?
Well, even if he
tried
did, it
Oh, okay.
would have been farther than 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Sure. No, well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. A huge chunk of the women, especially in the early days. I don't know. That's kind of upsetting. And you're right, Blake. There's no way to slap wrists harder than
You need to do it immediately after it happens.
Well, and that's what I was trying to say is hopefully nowadays, within the next, couple of years, we're gonna see a lot more people pop up because women are not necessarily afraid, or men are not necessarily afraid to hold it back.
Yeah,
So-
it's nice that it's nice that that there will be more people bringing it up, but we still run into the problem that it's incredibly hard to prove anything either way, and you end up just having a he said, she said.
But the more you do, the more people. If the stigma comes out where if you do this woman is going to report you, that's just a deterrent on its own.
That's true. It's a
So
social deterrent that would actually.
It's
help.
definitely.
But just doesn't for the actual people that it happens to. It's not.
Sure, because if
we need to be cyborgs so that we have HUD eyes that just record everything. Just
Well,
like
I don't know,
dash
man.
cams.
Wait a few years. Yeah.
Body
The hive
cams
mind.
for regular people. That
I'm
might
waiting
be
for
a
some.
Regular
I'm
people?
waiting for some like tape to come out. Somebody that pretended to be an actress or whatever to come out with like video cam evidence of all these producers or blah blah blah. That
Dude, that would be a sick documentary.
That'd be
of
so awesome.
Somebody who is getting into the actor industry and they have a secret.
it'd be like To
camera,
Catch a Predator,
and
but for
they do
that.
like they film 20 years of their life and starting in the actor industry and trying
Wow.
to move up, and they just have all the film of everything that happened.
Yo, that'd be
That would
insane.
be an insane documentary.
That'd be
That
insane.
person would be a legend.
I'm
That'd
sure
be
someone's
long as fuck.
editing that down. I don't know. I feel like that's definitely within the past couple of years. I'm sure someone has started doing that. At least keeping more tabs, having the secret recordings, having the voice records and stuff. What are you looking at, Blake?
You want something to make you feel better for Texas at least?
All right, go ahead.
In Texas, there are no limitations for sexual assault.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Sexual
thought that was
assault on
the
a
case.
child,
Hell yeah.
abuse of a child, there's none. Sexual assault, hold on. Other sexual offenses are 10 years, and other felonies or other sex offenses are 3 years.
wow.
So for a child, there's none. For actual sexual assault, there's 10 years, and for rape, there's no limitation.
Wow. Awesome.
Let's fucking go.
I-
We don't
I thought
mess
that
around.
was the thing
Let's-
for a lot of places. To be honest.
Let's end on a high note. That was good. I like that.
All right,
That makes me
so
feel
are we
good.
done with the sad part?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
All right. We were just talking, and I never introduced anybody, and I never literally we just
God.
hopped
It's like The
into it.
Departed, 20
Um,
minutes in, and then they show the title.
Exactly. Well, this has been a One More podcast. I have on me to my left,
Blake.
and then on my cat corner,
Zach.
and then in front of me.
Alex.
All right. Well, I hope you appreciate and enjoyed listening to a wide range of opinions and polarizing viewpoints. Hope you guys have a good day, night, and whenever you guys are listening to it.
And that was our show. I hope you enjoyed. Again, as always, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, do anything and everything to share. Just these simple demands. That's no big deal. And again, wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor, Haven Cottage Investments, okay? Sabrina Parker is a financial genius. I've been saying it for 3 million years now? 4 million? Almost that much. She's smart. She knows what she's doing. She's got the time for you. All you got to do is just give her a call, shoot her an email. Everything is all in the description below, all right? Get in contact with her, tell her your story, and she'll be able to figure out what's best for you. All right, guys. See you next time.
Take me home to the place. Sorry, I like that song. You're good.
You're good. That was great, but it's just sort of, it's still a little choppy. But don't worry, it's hard. It took me a while too. It's like, okay.
Wow.
What? Oh my god, you heard that? I'm so embarrassed. I'm so rusty.
Good, you're really coming along. It's really technically proficient, but there's really no heart or soul in it.
Really?
Leben ist altdort, älter als die Bäume, jünger als die Berge. Wohin wie der Wind, take me home. Country road to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country road, pick it in there. Take me home. You have to stop.